Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. And in this episode, we are going to look at my Tier B solo games. So these are games that are really good, that fall into the B tier. And again, this is, S tier through F, and I've already done the C video. So the B tier comprises a couple of different things. But first of all, overall, what makes a game a B tier? Well, those are the games that most of my games fall into. And that's usually like, I would consider it like a rating of an 8, give or take, right? And I have a lot of games that are rate 8. And these are games that I really like, really enjoy. Anytime I play them, I have a very good time. But what separates them from a C or an A? So they're better than a C tier for sure, because a C tier I might play once every couple of years or once every year or maybe 6 months. A B tier I could play over and over again if I wanted. There would be no problem. I've done that. I could play once every couple of months. I could do a lot of different things, but it basically qualifies as a game that I have no problems playing regularly and whenever I see it, right? Like, it's not like it has to be in a certain mood or something. They're all good, really good games. But it's not as good as an A tier, where in those games it's like, wow, that is a great game. Oh my goodness, I'd play it right again. Like, set it back up, play it again, keep it on the table, 2 or 3 times in a row. Usually these are, I play them and I enjoy them, but I don't necessarily play them back to back to back. So that's how I look at it. Now, the first category of the B tier games for me are the old classics. And these are games that maybe if you had told me, many years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, what are your A tier games? Maybe I would rate some of these at there, right? But these have stood the test of time, but have been in my collection for years and years. And that's games like, and Carnegie is right on the edge, but I'm going to put Carnegie at the beginning of that. Great game, lots of fun, played it over and over and really enjoy it solo and multiplayer too. Russian Railroads, there's a game that goes way back, and I really like that game, especially with the expansions. It's a lot of fun. Scythe is a very old game at this point. Love it, especially with some of the better expansions. And I say that like the Rise of Fenris was a great expansion. Really breathed a lot of interesting life into that game. Really cool. As was the one that got the first expansion too. I just can't remember off the top of my head. And similarly, an old classic, like one that started it kind of it all, was Euphoria. Euphoria finally got a solo add-on that I could play it solo a couple years back, and it's been enjoyable to do that. Newton is one of those games that I also really like. Play it regularly, a couple of times a year. It really scratches a cool itch of maximizing kind of a exponential point growth. Really a lot of fun, but it's an old classic for sure. Maracaibo, okay, that one goes back a few years, still in the collection, still enjoy it. Le Havre, way back, but Le Havre is a great game. The only thing with Le Havre that doesn't keep it from being an A tier, I've played it so many times, when you play solo with that game in particular, it's like you kind of understand what you have to do, and you kind of basically have to do that over and over to score well. And I'll give you one quick example in that. If you know the game, I always felt like by the time you understood what you're really doing, you needed to make sure that, the sooner you got the steel production going, the colliery, the cokery, the steel mill, that was essential, right? You just had to do that. And basically that game, there is a lot of things you can do with the different cards, but ultimately there's a lot of sameness every time you play it from a solo standpoint. Still a great game. Love it. Okay, and then to a lesser extent, but still really enjoyed, At the Gates of Loyang. Very unique, cool game. Like playing that solo for many years, still do. Medieval Age. The era, Medieval Age, right over here, just off the top over there, or out to the side. Great fun game, lots of cool little expansions, very customizable, cool things you can do to mix those in, good fun. All 3 of the Great Western Trails second editions, I will lump them all here together because they are unique in their own right, but very similar, and I've played them many times, so they're definitely a B tier game, not necessarily A tier, because I never play them back to back. They're always a good experience, but then I put them on the shelf for a while. Viscounts of the West Kingdom I'll put here, because I find it more refreshing and easier to play than Paladins of the West Kingdom, but it doesn't rise to the level of some of the other ones that have been in those series like the South Tigers, which qualify for different tier. New Frontiers, that is like the Puerto Rico in space, so to speak, when it finally got its expansion to be able to play that solo. Still really like it. Played a lot of that game, still like to play it. But the original game has been out for a couple years. And then finally, right over my shoulder here, Tawantinsuyu. So I like that game too. Good times. Old classics, I'll put those into there. Okay, now let's switch it up a smidge. These will go I've got a couple of rolling rights, Xing rights, flipping rights, drawing rights, however you want to say it, that fall squarely into my B tier that I've played an awful lot over the years. And the first one is probably Welcome To. I play Welcome To a ton, mostly because it's easy and it's quick, but also because of the board game arena adaptation. I play it a lot there. Just set it up, play it with other people, play it solo. Just really like that game. It's a lot of fun. And also the Welcome to the Moon, even better, much more varied. Highly recommended from a solo standpoint. Hadrian's Wall, B tier game, great game, but bumped down by its successor, which we'll talk about in a different video. And also another really good one, Joan of Arc, Draw and Write. Fun game, solid B tier offering. I like that one a lot. Now we'll go to some newer Euros. These are ones that I've gotten in the last couple of years, maybe like 4 or 5 years or so. And they are tons of fun, and I really enjoy them. But again, they don't quite make the A tier level. And that'd be games like, we'll start with a brand new one from my collection is Luthier. Really like Luthier a lot. I wouldn't say I'd play it back to back, but I really do enjoy it. Glen more too. Probably should play that game a lot more than I do, but I've always really had a lot of fun when I play it. Path of Civilization. That one's a story of humankind. That's the one that has some, it's not really, it doesn't feel like a 4X or a Civilization game to me, but it's just a fun game to play, and I really like it. Suna Valo. Good game, solid game, like to play it. The White Castle, especially with the T expansion. That one with that expansion really is a solid, fun game to be able to play. It's punishing from the standpoint of the solo bot, but with the expansion, I felt like I had a little better of a shot, which is why it's a B tier, not a C tier. The new one, Saltfjord, really enjoy playing that game. It's got a lot of cool stuff about it. If anything, it's a very easy one to play quickly. Rasafa, not the greatest theme. It's this blue box right over here. Not the greatest theme, but very fun and engaging gameplay. Really enjoy my time with it, and will continue to do so. Pirates of Maracaibo, I put in this tier just barely. It almost made the A tier, but I don't play it back to back a lot. Although it's a great game, really enjoy it. It's so much fun to get those little bonuses over and over. Highly recommend that one. Wondrous Creatures, solid, really good game. That was one that came out of nowhere for me. Very much enjoy just the whole gameplay, the majorities, the way the cards interact, everything. Really like that game a lot. Planta, Nubo, almost an A tier game, but has some things about it that are just a little heavy lifting at times that are a little frustrating, but really do like it. The biggest problem with that game is the AI seems to be kind of a pushover, so you really have to just change that to make it better. Windmill Valley, totally a good one. Emberleaf, really like Emberleaf a lot. A lot of interesting stuff going on in that one. Very cool new release. Lacrimosa, a little bit older from a new standpoint, but really enjoy my time with that one. Every time I bust it out, highly love it. Then there's Encyclopedia. Haven't played this one in a while, but I really did appreciate it when I was playing it before. I need to play it again. Great, great, great set collection game. Some really interesting choices on that one. Very fun. Barcelona, need to bust that one out again, especially since I just got the expansion for it. Very good, thinky, interesting game. Not an easy one to play from a standpoint of like lots of stuff that is all intertwined, but it's a very fun experience. Boon Lake, also good. Barrage, a lot of people criticize the solo mode of Barrage, and rightfully so. It should be better and easier. That's why it's not an A tier for me. But I really enjoy it because I think it is a fascinating game, hence the B tier rating. Jerusalem, Anno Domini, really interesting, fun Euro game with a cool theme and a cool way that theme kind of comes together. So I like that one a lot. Praga Caput Regni is one of my games that I haven't played in an awfully long time for no good reason, no good excuse. I put it as a B tier. If I played it more, it'd probably be an A tier, but it's just been a long time. Skara Brae, really right on the line there of A to B. Very fun game to play. Cool game that offers a lot of different things in a small box, which is cool. Brand new one for me, Tianxia. Really like that game. It could go up with further plays. So far, really solid classic Euro feel. Lost Ruins of Arnak. That one is just on the cusp of being old and new because it was released in 2020. But I've always enjoyed that, and it's a lot of fun when you mix in the expansions. Now, the expansions would probably get a little stale, but I like all the stuff they've done to it over the years. And then finally, Brazil. If you can find I had to get the French version of the solo to be able to play it, but it's a cool game as well. So that's a ton of games that fall into the newer Euro category for Tier B. Now, I have another class in here, which I like to call the Saga games. Those are games that can be played over and over with different configurations, different stories, different setups, etc. And there's a ton of play in the box. But they're also pretty draining in the fact that they require a lot of effort. That's not draining in a bad way. It's just that it's not a quick casual thing. So they're not as easy enough to be able to play over and over to make them A tier, but they definitely fall in the B tier for me, but they're great. So the first one is Robinson Crusoe. I always like playing that game, even though I get clobbered. It's very hard to win, but it's winnable. And it's definitely a cool game. But I've played most of the scenarios, and I even have the expansion with I can't remember what it was called. Let's see if I could see it. The Mystery Tales. That was cool too. A lot of good stuff. And then I got the book, which really kind of mixes things up, which is a lot of fun. So that's a great one. Lots of replayability there. Frostpunk, super hard Euro co-op game. A game, though, where the theme actually comes through and makes you feel like you're making these agonizing choices, like you're trying to deal with life and death situations in a colony that's struggling to survive. Very cool how that all works out. Really like that game. I think it's a very fun one, even if it is a bit dismal in the setting and very hard to win. Wandering Galaxies, lots of content there, lots going on, very cool. It is, you need an app, or I guess you could buy the storybook, but I think the app is just fine. But there's a ton of gameplay and replayability in that one. Unsettled, I have not even come close to getting through all the content I own for that. I do like it. There's so much of a really cool puzzly aspect of that game. I definitely will never sell it. I'll be playing it till I am probably too old to play games, just because it's so unique and different. Even though it's got some similarities, you really don't know what's behind each of those scenarios and the mixes of them. ISS Vanguard, I need to get myself back into this game. There's no doubt about it. I got it maybe a third of the way, maybe a quarter of the way through the campaign, and just took a pause and haven't picked it back up. But I've loved it. I love the idea of the continuous campaign play in that one. Beyond the Rift, that's a relatively new one for me. That is a card game with an awful lot of scenarios. It does a really good job feeling like a dungeon crawler, but the game is quick enough and bite-sized enough where there's a lot of variety, and yet there's tons of content that kind of extends from one play to another. Really fun deck-building game. And definitely not like crushingly impossible, because there's many difficulty levels you can play on. So really enjoy that. The Seventh Continent I'll put here. That is a very hard game to win, but there's tons to explore, and I always enjoy trying to push my luck and see how far I can get down the road of one of those mysteries or curses. I can't remember what they're called. It's been a little while. Vantage, great game. It really is a very good game. I've played it. It's one of those games, it doesn't quite make it to A tier, but it was right on the cusp for me. I think it's one of those unique experiences that you either will like or you will be ho-hum about. I know it sounds weird, but there won't be a lot of middle ground, I think, because people could say, oh, maybe this one's too random, or, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. You really have to read between the lines in that game to understand how to play it well. But each game gives you more and more experience about it. It really does capture a mysterious kind of hidden world, open world feel. And I really enjoy playing it. I'll put Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth here too, because that's a great fun game, but it's a bit of a a commitment, because you're going to play 7 to 13 or whatever. There's many games in a row before you finish your campaign. And you really kind of got to stick with it once you get started, because it'd be really tough to figure out or remember what happened and where you are with the story and how your choices make sense. It's much better if you're ready to play that, just to play it, over a succession of a couple of games until you finally finish. All right, so those are the Saga ones that I have. Then I've got ones that are very customizable. There's not too many that fall into this, but this would be where I would put the Lord of the Rings card game. I don't consider it an A tier anymore. I played it so much. That's the only reason why I don't really like the Lord of the Rings card game. This is the LCG, but obviously there's just tons and tons and tons of content out for it. I'll also say, let's see, Unstoppable in a much more bite-sized way, very customizable because of how the game works, and every time you play it, you're building your cards in different ways. So you're not necessarily customizing it at the get-go. It's more like it evolves on you. But it's a single-play game. And then I'll throw in Earthborn Rangers here. That could have gone in the Saga game too, but it's the way I put it is there's much more control you have over trying different characters, doing different things, building different decks, etc. Very cool game. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm regularly playing that one still. All right. Now we'll talk about a category I just like to call nice dice. Ones that use dice mechanics an awful lot to do something really cool. First one in that, I would say, is Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan was one of the first games I played where you're using dice in a non-dice-like way, where they represent powers as your workers get bigger and stronger until they end up basically dying or retiring, how you want to look. I think, they're dying in that game. And then they get, you replaced with another kid and everything else. Really cool game. Very fun solo. Really like it. Probably need to play it more, to be honest. And I enjoyed the expansion, the first expansion. I don't think I ever got there's like the one that was released not too long ago. I never got that. I had plenty of content for it, though. Black Angel is one of the first games I reviewed on my channel. And it goes back, but it was a really cool, very interesting game that used dice in an interesting way, again, for like workers, but also the way that the board moved and everything I thought was very fun, very interesting, unique game. All the Gan-Shan clever games, how do you say it, Gan-Shan, all the very clever games, those are a ton of fun. They are. I love playing them solo. I like playing with other people, and very cool game to throw into the B tier. The other one that was really surprising me from a B tier side of things is the Dr. Finn solo strategy book. 8 different small games. Half of them are word games, half of them are not, that you use with just 4 dice and a pencil. Very cool, very fun, lots of content, and literally a very, very easy to understand and play book. So that's really cool. And then finally, this one takes a lot of effort to do solo, but Dice Throne Adventures. I like the Dice Throne games, I really do, and I appreciate the ability to play them solo and do, just experience the fun of that whole system in a solo manner. All right, next category is co-ops. These are games that are played, you can play them solo just fine, but they're cooperative games. And the first one I'll throw in here is Arkham Horror 3rd Edition. I think that this one qualifies as a B tier for me because I don't play it all that often. I get my fix of it, and I really enjoy it. Then I put it on the shelf for a while. I don't have to bring it out, but I love every time I play it. It's a very fun experience. Pandemic High Tide, I've played that a ton. I think it's one of my favorite classic-like Pandemic games. The new Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship Pandemic-style game, definitely a cool game, falls right into this. I'll definitely be playing that a lot more. It's just a really good one. Here's one that you may not have heard about. Connecting Flights, also a game that I did years ago. Very cool, very fun. There's a competitive and a cooperative mode. The solo mode is what I kind of look at it like. That one's very interesting. It's a big, huge puzzle, but it is fun and satisfying to play. And then finally one that's kind of like, Fate, this is Defenders of Grimheim. That is a cool, like, invaders coming in, but not as simple as Castle Panic game that's a lot of fun to play and really kind of a neat puzzle to enjoy. And you could put most of the Pandemics in here too if I hadn't played them so much. I just really like the Pandemic series in general. I've played most of them, not all of them, but they all fit into this good, solid category. Then the final category I have for the B tier are the unique experiences. These are games that are very fun and they don't necessarily fall into something. I just feel like they're very unique in their own mind, in their own right. Distilled would be one of them. Now, yes, that's a deck builder, but I think the way that Distilled does its brewing of the, or distillation of the spirits and stuff is really cool and a lot of fun. It's a great game to play, especially with the way the solo works with the solo goals. Civilization: A New Dawn. I think you could see it over the back of my. No, it's right down here. I don't think you can. Really cool game. I prefer this style again. This is the one that preceded kind of the similar things you saw in Arc Nova. But I actually like this game a lot more. I think it's more interesting. And originally, the main game didn't come with a like a solo mode, so you had to get the expansion. I know there was a fan. I played it with a fan expansion so much that I can't remember how that worked with the fan made solo so much. I can't remember exactly how that worked with the expansion. But either way, you can make it into a good solo game if you're willing, and it's a very fun experience, but very unique. Pax Pimar 2nd edition, really cool solo game. Probably the reason it's a B tier for me is I think it's much more fun when you play with multiplayers. But there's so much you could do in that game. It's really cool. I really like that one. Sky Tier Horde, if you want a lane-based combat game, it's a little on the pricey side, but it is a lot of fun. There's a ton of different customization you can do with that game. I'll throw in my one plug for Tiny Epic Games. This is the only one that makes a good tier. Spoiler. Tiny Epic Dungeons. I think this is a really fun game. It's very hard, comparatively speaking, but it's really cool. It's one of the few dungeon crawlers I still have in my collection I like, and I really appreciate playing it. Salt on Sea, very cool game. A little dry in some ways, but the theme comes through. I'm okay with that. Just a unique kind of flavored game. And with that also would be, I don't think you can see it, but Mobile Markets, the cell phone game, right? I like the Mobile Markets better than the other one, which I've had both, but I sold the other one because I think Mobile Markets does it better. That's a very economic heavy game that's just about making your own cell phone company. A lot of fun. Weirdwood Manor, very interesting game. Kind of complex. There's a lot going on. It is a little bit difficult, but it's a very cool experience. Pipeline, if you play with the solo variant, also very cool. A lot of fun. I put High Frontier for All here because it's so unique. It's a very good game, but it's extremely difficult to understand and get into. So I can't rate it higher than a B tier because while I do think it's in some ways a masterpiece, in other ways, there's things about it that need to be refined, and especially with the way the solo plays. There's a reason there's still living rules and there's still like adding and taking away and different things like that. But it's a good game. I'll throw Expeditions in here. That's the one that's kind of comes from the Scythe universe. Very fun game, unique. It's a blend of different things. Excavating Earth. Excavating Earth is it's its own thing in a lot of ways. I always enjoy playing it more than I expect to. It's just got this unique twist on everything that's really cool. The markets, the way that you interact with different things on the board, just the whole experience is a lot of fun. Kingdom Rush, which is a very unique tower defense game with polynomial figures that go together, and that's how you kind of solve the cards. It has 10 scenarios in there, and then I guess you could do generated random ones, but it's a very interesting experience too, a lot of fun. And then finally, with the expansion, you can play Anno 1800 solo, and that is a cool but very unique kind of game. It's a game that's like an acquired taste, I think. Not everybody is going to like it because you could think it's pretty dry with some of the production chains, but I like production chains. So that was a longer video, but we got through over 70 games that I would say are tier B goodness, and they're very good. All these games will be in my collection probably, in perpetuity, right? Because they're so much fun, but they're not necessarily as good as some of the ones in my upper tiers. So I hope this was an interesting and cool list for you, and I will continue this. My next video is going to come out pretty short. It'll be the D tier video. I'm going to go the other way for a minute, and we'll kind of bounce around. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.